What's going on, Fanout Crew? Jonathan, what's going on, man?
It's going on pretty. It's
All
going
right,
pretty good,
we're gonna
Colby. How you
we're gonna
doing?
use take two. What's up, Fanout Crew? Colby and Jonathan are back tonight to talk about our top 10 favorite board games, and this is my list, and this is Jonathan's individual lists. So, as there are what millions, probably hundreds of thousands of games out there,
I
we
was
only
counting before we started. I stopped at 25.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's probably as high as you can count anyway. So it's probably a good stopping point. You drinking some wine or is that mead?
What's mead, baby?
Nice.
Always mead.
So again, these are just our individual lists. If there are games on here that you guys don't like, totally let us know in chat. If there's games that are missing that you think we'll like, definitely let us know. We want to see your top 10 in chat in the comments as well. So let us know what your thoughts are. John, you ready to do this, or do you want to give them a little bit of a kind of precursor as to how we came up with this list? And now I've not seen yours. You haven't seen mine list, that is. And so, all right, wow, that was that came out wrong. So, but yeah, do you want to let them know kind of what your thought process was with putting this list together? Because it's probably totally different than mine.
My thought process on putting it a game is what is a board game? A board game is something you have fun with, and I think the majority of my list are games that I just have a blast playing. There are definitely the number when we get to the number one. Spoiler alert: I've played it a ton. It would take an amazing game for me to remove that game from my number one.
I have an
Um,
idea of what it is, but I won't say
yeah,
it.
it's yeah, and like I said, what Colby said earlier, for all you guys that got this list of games and don't even pop up on our top tens, mention them. I want to check them out. Colby is always on the look for a new game.
Yeah,
Like
dude. I bet.
he
Yeah.
messages me, and then what we do is we both own all the same damn games, and so it's like, give us some new stuff here. But, yeah, let's. I'm ready to do this.
Yeah. So my thought process is kind of the same thing you are. Like, I just like games that are fun for me. I tend to like games that are on the quicker side, maybe like an hour or less, sometimes maybe 2 hours. I don't really, well, I don't want to say I don't enjoy games that are longer. Like, I know for a fact, I'll be shocked if there's a game that rhymes with Plodomacy that's on your list. I'll be shocked if it's not on your list, because you're always asking me to play it, and I'm always telling you no, because I just don't have the time. I don't have time to play a 6 or 8 hour game. I would love to, I just don't. You know, so I liked whenever we host game nights, I tend to do the sort of an hour to 45 minute kind of. I like some games that are super quick too, because you can just kind of
Yeah.
turn and burn, and they're easy to learn and stuff like that. So I have kind of a myriad of games on here. I even have a couple of dice games, which technically are not board games, but so what? This is my list. I'm allowing it. you know.
No, dude. And I think really quick when we get into there's a reason I have some honorable mentions that aren't on the board game list because they aren't board games.
You did honorable mentions too.
Yeah, I did some honorable mentions.
I have two or three. That's funny. You can't do a top 10 list without having honorable mentions. And here's the thing: I'm expecting you to name some that I should have had on my list, and I didn't. I just forgot. So we will see what happens.
Likewise, man. I think there's going to be a lot like, damn it, like, could
duh.
that fit in my top 10? You know what I'm saying? Then I'll send you a private message saying, yeah, dude, you totally did that one. Yeah, I should have had that on my top 10.
All right, let's go ahead and do the honorable mentions. Let's do that first, because I know a lot of people do that at the end, but like, let's get those out of the way, just because there's a reason why they're not on the top 10 list, but they're good enough to mention. Give me your first one.
You want to do? That's what I was going to ask. Do you want to do the honorable mentions as a blanket?
Yeah. Quick? Well, how many do you have?
I have four. I have four honorable mentions.
I have three. So yeah, go ahead and give me your. Go ahead and just give me all of them.
All right, all of my honorable mentions. Okay. Again, I don't really know if this counts as a board game. Pitch Car. If you guys have never played Pitch Car, it is one of those games. The more the merrier. You lay out itty bitty little pieces of track, and you flick tokens around this huge track.
I've never even heard of this game.
Dude, it is so much fun. Lots of swearing involved. It's
Like
so
by
much
design
fun.
or just because of the game they don't go where you want them to.
Because you tell yourself, oh, all I got to do is go around this turn. But there's a caveat. I don't want to go through every game and all the rules. But there's a caveat. If your car leaves the track, you go all the way back to where you
Oh,
started
yeah.
your flick. So you got to be careful. So if you flick it too hard, it goes off the track. Yeah, whatever. But at the same time, when you have 8 people playing that way and they're all trying to go through these tight turns and you're just bumping into people, you're pushing people forward. It is so much fun.
We'll have to
Nothing
check
but
that out. Sounds cool. What's your next one?
the next one going is in the same vein, except for flicking. It's actual dice rolls. Formula D, a car racing game where you have like a little gearbox and you shift up in gear, and that dictates a higher number dice you can roll, which dictates your speed. So it's pretty cool. You're going into that turn, and you're like, how fast can I take this turn? Do I downshift? But this guy behind me is going to pass me if I downshift. Do I risk it for the biscuit and roll for that high number? It's a lot of thought, a lot of strategy, but a lot of guys are just like, hell with it. I'm staying in high gear.
Right.
Formula D is really good.
So interesting because so far I don't know. I've never heard of these two games, and I love this because now I'm gonna probably play these. I'm probably gonna play all the ones on your list if I haven't already, like all the top 10 ones. So this is good. Keep going.
And I think this one, if it's not on your list, Colby, I think it's definitely going to be also in your honorable mentions because we've played it a million times together. Is Dominion, oh my god, what is it? Deck building game.
Yeah, love Dominion. I actually bought my copy of Dominion from you. Remember?
Yeah.
you sold me yours because you were like, I've done it.
Deal.
Yeah.
Hell of a deal. Yeah.
Well, it was easier just to keep it over here, so that way it's here when you want it. You know.
The Dominion, of course, was the first deck building game I ever played. It is a very solid game, and that's why it's so fun. That is a game that you'll notice as we go through my list. All my games have not necessarily multiple. It is such huge replay value. No two games are ever the same.
No, yeah, they're totally different.
Ever.
Yeah, because you've got so many different combinations of cards, and you can only put so many on the table, like literally, that it's never the same.
And so anyway, and then for my last honorable mention that I wanted to throw in there, I thought back, what's a family board game that we've all grown up with, that we all know. Some of us love it, some of us hate it. If you play it by the rules, it's actually pretty cutthroat, and that is Monopoly. I put Monopoly on my honorable mention because when you look at it, you literally think how much you want to punch your brother in the face. You know what I'm saying? You look at a game of Monopoly, it's like, that asshole, he treated me that one time. I never ever want to play that game again. Again, after you become an adult and you start playing games by the rules, Monopoly has a lot of like little nuanced strategies to it. And the only reason Monopoly isn't on my top 10 is because of the grand determining factor of random number generator that is a dice roll. You can have a terrible or a great game just because of the dice you're rolling. And there's a few games in here that, that dice rolling don't have any, you don't even roll damn dice on a lot of these games that you play. Anyway, so those are my 4. Again, I'll reread them real quick. Pitch Car, Formula D, Dominion, and Monopoly. Those are my 4 honorable mentions.
So I've played 2 of those. One of them is in my top 10. And yeah. So yeah, I have 3 honorable mentions. I suspect one of these within the next probably 6 months will be on my top 10. I just bought it, and I know it's been out for years, and I haven't played it yet, but I've seen it played enough, and I've seen enough people review it to know that the game is good. So I can't put it in my top 10 because I haven't played it yet. But like, I would be remiss if I didn't at least mention honorably Lords of Waterdeep. So
yeah. God. Okay.
Yeah, I have never played like legit Dungeons and Dragons, and I know this game just sort of takes place in the like Forgotten Realms like universe. It doesn't really use D&D rules. It just sort of takes place in that world. Looking at the videos that I've watched on it, and from people that I trust, you and other people, I'm really, really ready to get into this game. I bought it like a week ago. Because of all this construction that we're doing in our house right now, we are like so ready to like start hosting some game nights again, because now
Let's
that
do
like
it.
now that COVID is like more or less like not, I'm not gonna say not a thing, but it's not as bad as it was a year ago or 2 years ago or whatever. So we're ready to do this. So I bought like 7 games in the last couple of weeks. It's insane, dude. So Lords of Waterdeep is on my honorable mention list just because I've been wanting to play it for years and I know it's good. The next one is go ahead.
Really quick. I will say absolutely nothing bad about your first honorable mention. Continue, sir.
I suspect it's on your list. I mean, it may not be. You and I could have a totally different top 10. I will say that I suspect my games are a little bit more mainstream than yours, and yours are probably a little bit more like hardcore board gamer than mine, which is good. We have a nice like spread there. So next honorable mention is a game that is really fun. Takes about 5 minutes to play, and you can play it for 2 hours and not even notice it. It is a quasi deck building game, but you don't really build a deck. It's more of like a deck elimination game. And
You guess what it is?
Yeah.
Is it Love Letter?
You got it. This game.
I don't like it.
Yeah. You don't like it?
I fucking love Love Letter.
Oh, I thought you said you don't like it. I was about to like jump through the computer and be like, how do you not like this? By the way, just ordered a Jabba's Palace edition of Love Letter instead of, dude, it's got Leia, it's got like Slave Leia in it. It's got like it's Star Wars themed. I don't know if the rules are different or I'm so excited to get it. So Love Letter, go ahead.
You introduced me to Love Letter, and I was just like, it's one of those silly games.
I introduced it to you? I thought you introduced it to me.
No, you introduced me to Love Letter, and I will never forget, like, this game should not be as fun as it is.
Dude, you're absolutely right. It's sort of like Free Guy. Like, it has no right to be as good. Oh no, you know what it is? It's Cobra Kai. It has no right to be as good as it is and as fun as it is. And it's just something that everybody loves, like universally. Like, it just is.
Yeah. And remember, like, the first game we played, I was like, well, that sucks. Then the next 3 games I won.
You're like, oh, okay, this game is awesome. Yeah.
It's just like, oh, it's designed this way. You're not supposed to be like, again, we'll get into the games, but it's a game that if you lose 5 minutes later, you can have 3 wins on your belt. I mean, it's so fast. It's so fun. I'm sorry. I mean, you could probably sit here and talk about Love Letter for like another 15 minutes.
All right. So the last one on my list is I kind of went the Monopoly route like you did. This is a game that everybody has played in their lives, probably. It is one of the OG family night board games. And again, I would be remiss if I didn't mention it because it's just so good, and quite frankly, I'm so good at it. So, just because I'm very good at memorizing useless facts. So I want to see if you can guess what this one is.
You said useless facts. There's only one. That's Trivial Pursuit.
Trivial Pursuit. Yeah, you can't go wrong with a game night if you break out some Trivial Pursuit. I'm talking like the OG like Genesis edition, like the blue and gold one. You know, like none of that like 80s boomer stuff or the Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings one. None of that, dude. Give me the the original. Dude, but yeah, just such a fun game.
Yeah. There's gosh, as a pseudo full-time trivia host, man, would be remiss if I didn't say I cheated a few times. Just reach into a Trivial Pursuit box, use those cards as my questions for the night. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. Everyone knows about it. It's pretty cool because everyone is so familiar with it. It's one of those games you don't have to explain the rules. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm going to ask a question, you get it right, you get a thing. So anyway, completely love Trivial Pursuit. Yeah. Down, man. Down.
So you don't actually know this, but I spent a lot of time Googling a bunch of random board game like logos and stuff. So if the games that I know what my list is, so I have all of mine, but if the games that you mention are in here, I'll throw the graphic up on the screen. Cause I literally have like hundreds of them I can throw up there right now. So
there is at least one you used in our thumbnail. So if you get those graphics.
Okay. Okay, so those were all mine. I thought they were. I can't remember. So so we did our honorable mentions. Give me your number 10. What do you got?
Right. And this is where we bounce back and forth, right? I give you
Yeah,
my
yeah.
10.
Yeah.
All right, cool. My number 10, making it on the list. Now, this is a game I do not own.
Hang
No,
on.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Ooh, there. Not with this guy. You gotta pay me to shut the hell up.
All right, guys. Sorry.
Yeah,
Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Gotta go be a dad for a second. Hold on.
Yeah, go be a dad. It'll just be me. I'll be over here tap dancing. Oh man, let me tell you about this one time, right? Me and Colby are hanging out, butt ass naked. Like butt ass naked. And he's like, "Hey man, you going swimming?" I'm like, "No, I thought we were just hanging out." And then, it's the end of that story. But there was this other time, where we haven't really talked about this, and I'm not gonna go get into any kind of negative, negative vibe here. However, hey, Colby was there, sitting next to me. We were both defeated by a movie called Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Very sorry about that. Our house is in shambles right now, and Cameron did not know where the trash can was. So, yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so I think you're about to give me your number 10.
I am going to give you my number 10. My number 10, ladies and gentlemen, number 10. And the only reason I do not own a copy of this game is because everyone else I know owns a copy of this game. For all you guys that love a zombie apocalypse type scenario, but
I might
you
have
don't
this
want to
one.
you don't want to invest into a zombie RPG. Number 10 is Dead of Winter. Dead of Winter has,
I had that one. I had that
only
graphic.
played it. Oh my god. I've only played that thing 3 or 4 times. And it is freaking amazing. There is something about how at the beginning of the game, you have your characters that are all based on movie stars, based on movie stars from movies they've played in. Like it's really weird. Anyway, so when you look at the Santa Claus character that is the town drunk, that is Bill Murray. Like, it's
Gotcha.
his face, it's everything. Anyway, so there's a whole bunch of stuff like that, a lot of nuances to go into it. Then it's pretty much, hey, we have to protect our colony from a zombie apocalypse. And then you go out to gas stations, grocery stores, get all these supplies. However, you start the game, your buddy sitting next to you named Colby might be a damn dirty betrayer. He might have drawn the betrayer card, and it is his mission get a couple supplies and get out of there. And if he escapes, he wins the game.
So is this a co-op game other than the person who's the betrayer?
It's a 100% co-op. You're all just trying to survive. You make decisions that are going to benefit you and your like group of players that you're controlling. Or would somebody ask you for a firearm or a weapon? Do you want to give it to them? Sure, why not? You need it, or do you want to keep it so your group is more efficient when you go out? Again, where all the stakes come down, you go out, you're doing your little. I'm going to go check this gas station. And then your lead character gets bit by a zombie.
Ooh.
You have an option. Either you have to roll a dice. You have a 1 in 6 chance that you cut your arm off, or you do something that prevents the spread of the infection. Your other choice is you off yourself. You commit suicide so the plague does not spread. Because if you roll a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, he spreads to your next party member.
Oh, geez.
It spreads to the next one. And so it could kill the entire game if you don't kill the infection as soon as you get it. And everyone becomes zombies, and the game is over. So there is, and the only reason this game is not higher, again, I do not own it. I've only played it 3 or 4 times. There's 3 or 4 games imprinted on me where Colby was, hey man, I got Dead of Winter. We're throwing down in like 20 minutes. I'm on my way. I'm putting on pants.
Nice.
I'm putting some pants on, and I'm coming over.
I like how you were already pantsless in that scenario. Like it's a realistic one. I can get behind that. Well, not get behind that. You know what? Never mind. So Dead of Winter. We'll check that out. All right, you ready for my number 10?
I was born ready, Colby.
All right, so my number 10 is a game that you have already mentioned tonight, and it is Dominion. I
Oh,
absolutely love this game. It's definitely best with two players. You can play it with three. I prefer it with two. It's just a head to head deck builder, and there's the for fun play method, and then there's the way the game wants you to play method, where do you want to just do the garden rush and just do that, or do you want to build an engine that's going to pay dividends later? And it's just like whatever choice you make, you got to stick to it from the beginning all the way to the end. And I love this game. I have a whole cardboard thing just full of cards. Like, it's just like a comic book style, cardboard box that's just full of these cards that we can throw down. And like you said, no games are the same because, only certain cards are in play. So really cool. If you've not checked out Dominion, I highly recommend it.
if you
Go ahead.
I was just saying, if you guys have never played a deck builder before, Dominion, like, it tells you,
It's a great one to start with.
It is an amazing one to start with, like, especially if you play it with somebody who knows what the hell they're doing. Yeah, you sit down with somebody who knows how to play the game, you will know everything you need to know about Dominion by the end of the first game. And then you start incorporating new cards. Yeah, you have to take the 3 seconds it takes to look and read the new text that's on the card. But other than that, man, it's super simple, a lot of fun. What Colby was saying about get that engine going for dividends, it starts looking really good. But if he's playing the long game, but if I'm playing the quick game but that could completely kneecap Colby's strategy. He's like, wait, this long game is going to work because John is playing a lot faster than me when it comes to how fast my deck works. Wait, lots and lots and lots and lots of replay value. That's why Dominion is freaking amazing. Because again, like Colby said, you can play the game 10 times. All 10 times are going to be different.
Right. Plus, there's different expansions that are themed towards certain, like cultures or certain cards that fit well together. And if you don't want that expansion, don't get it. You don't need. They're absolutely not required. Like alchemy sucks. Okay, so you went first on number 10. So let me go ahead and do my number 9 now. Good.
Hit me with it.
All right. So, look, I'm not embarrassed that I like this game. If anybody knows anything about me, you know that Janina and I are Disney freaks. Okay, so this is a Disney game, and it is very fun. It's a 4-player game, I believe, maybe 6 players. I can't remember. It's 2 to 6 players, I think. It is Disney villainous, and basically, people cannot keep this game on the shelf. Like it sells like hotcakes, dude. You pick your favorite Disney villain. I mean, there's Ursula, Maleficent, Prince John from Robin Hood, which I like because he never gets any love in any of the villain stuff. He's in there. Queen of Hearts is in there. Jafar, Captain Hook, and you have a board that's like in front of you that's specific to that villain, and there's some locations on it, and you kind of bounce your token around and do different things. You can hire allies to fight for you. You can cast your own sort of things that the hero has or the villain has, and it's just really cool because each villain has what they call a fate deck, and it's full of heroes. So like if I play Prince John, Robin Hood is one of the heroes, Maid Marian's one of the heroes, and your opponents are actually what draw the heroes for you. Like you play a fate card on yourself, and then you choose one of the other players to sort of like screw, right? So you're not really playing against other people until you are, right?
Oh.
Yeah, so it's really cool. It has a cool each character has their own separate victory mechanic. Like the Queen of Hearts, for example, has to do this move called Take the Shot, and she has to get certain cards lined up in a certain way, and then if she has 4 of her rickets like lined up in a like a lane, she can take the shot like croquet, and she actually like you then flip through your cards and you count certain numbers and stuff, and if you're successful, you win the game, right? I actually took the shot the first time I played with the Queen of Hearts and missed, so ended up losing the game. But
That's terrible.
Yeah, Maleficent has curses. Ursula has these like binding contracts that she does. Prince John is actually really cool. He's all about greed. Greed in this game is basically like money. Essentially, it's just power tokens, right? If he starts his round with, I think 20 coins, then he wins the game. So his whole strategy is just to amass wealth. The problem is when people are casting fate on you, you can't just hoard money. You have to pay money to hire allies to fight for you, or you will die. So he has this really like delicate balancing act that he has to play. Like, do you try to brute force all the money and just start your turn with 20? Because that's what happened to me. I had 20 coins at the end of my turn. Everybody counted up, and they were like, "Yep, that's 20. We got to kill him now." So it was fun. A really cool game. I definitely recommend it if you haven't played it before.
The only thing I have to say about Villainous is that I am 100% not shocked that is on your list. Not because of anything you've said, but like you said, you can't keep it. You can't find it anywhere because it's always being purchased. Dude.
There is a Marvel one too, Marvel Villainous.
Yeah,
that apparently is very cool.
I've personally sold about 10 or 12 copies of this game, sitting at a counter. You know what I'm saying? So I've seen this thing fly off the shelves. So yeah, I'm not surprised at all that A, it's Disney, and I know about you and your family. And B, apparently it's a pretty damn good game too. So
yeah, you need to play it. It's cool. All right, what do you got?
We're on number 9.
Yep.
In that case, all right. Again, this is a game. Played it 3-4 times. It is a long game. It is a game that you need a lot of strategy. It is a game that you are trying to.
Oh God.
Your buddy. It is a game that you are trying to not have any friends anywhere at any given time.
I'm just gonna go ahead and throw up the graphic, okay?
Don't do it because it's a different one.
Oh.
Number 9 is Cthulhu Wars.
Oh. I don't have that one.
This is my number 9. Guys, if you guys like your old ones and you like
Let me go find
Cthulhu
it real quick.
And the elder and ancient gods fighting over this menial plane of existence that we all live on and try to live a happy life. None of that matters, man. This world that we live on just becomes a playground, a war zone, if you will, for all of these different elder gods. I cannot sit here and tell you enough good things about Cthulhu Wars. The only drawback I would say, it does take a long time. It probably takes an hour and a half to 2 hours to play. It is
That's not too bad.
Beast of a game, but it's beautiful to look at. The rules make sense. It flows. There are times where guy standing next to you literally got you in a chokehold and there's nothing you could do. With all your pride, to go to somebody else is like, hey, dude, if you don't kick this dude in the nuts, there's nothing I'm going to be able to do later. And maybe I can help you out later. Like Cthulhu Wars, I cannot sit here and say enough good things about it. Again, if you go and just look at the pieces, man, it is beautiful. It is. Oh, there's the box. I can see it. Oh my God, dude. Again, if you're not like a big war tabletop strategy type person, this is probably not gonna be one you enjoy. But if you love, like, I'm just gonna use for game Risk as an example, but it's nothing like Risk.
I was gonna ask if it was like Risk.
Oh, dude, there's so much more going on. To call it Risk is such
an oversimplification. Yeah.
Oh my God. Again, it's one of those games, lots of moving parts, lots of stuff to know, lots of stuff to do, lots of, prime moments of opportunity. If you don't act, you will mess up. And the other players that are playing with you will make you pay for it. So it's, oh gosh, not enough good things to say about Cthulhu Wars as my number 9. Again, it would be higher if I played this game maybe a dozen more times.
Huh. All right, got to check that one out. So,
Going
go
on
ahead.
my 8.
Yeah, give me your number 8. So far we haven't had any of the match. So I'm curious to see if there's anything on there.
All right. So my number 8, ladies and gentlemen, we've all played the game Yahtzee. But what if there was a way to play Yahtzee and knock out your opponents? Ladies and gentlemen, number 8 is Dice Throne. It is.
Got that one. I knew you'd have that one.
Dude, Dice Throne is a. Oh man, it's like. I imagine you take all your D&D classes with your barbarians, your wizards, and your rogues and all that stuff, and you gave them abilities that proc when you roll a certain dice. That's it. And that's all it is. And another cool thing is you're playing this game, you're playing your guy, you're playing your pyromancer, and you're about to put this big, huge fireball out. The game dictates where that shot goes. You don't get to pick who you're about to blow up. Again, because it's dice thrown, you roll a dice. And if it's a 1, it hits the person to your left. If it's a 2, it's the person to your right.
Okay.
You roll a 6, you get to pick a guy who you're hitting. There is so much going on in Dice Throne, for as simple as I just called it. It seriously is. It's Yahtzee, but instead of scoring points, you're melting your friend's face off. I said it.
All right. Yeah. Nice. Sounds cool. It sounds a lot like D&D, like, you know, but maybe fun. Like, I don't want to piss off anybody, you know, but you know what I mean? All right. So that was your number 8.
We're on 8.
All right. So my number 8, I'm going to be surprised if this is not on your list. Well, you know what? I don't want to say that. I'll just throw it up there. My number 8 is Ticket to Ride.
Ooh, that's a fun one.
And this is a game that anybody can play. You know, you can play it with 2 people. You can play it with, 6, I think?
I think the base game is 5.
Yeah, 2 to 5. And it's just great. I mean, there's a map of the US and some parts of Canada. And yeah, and you build train routes based on different colors, and I mean it's a very simple game, and it's super fun. It has quite a bit of strategy involved, but it's also quite a bit of luck. I mean, you cannot win this game on strategy alone, and you cannot win this game on luck alone. It's one of those. And what else can I say about it other than, like, Days of Wonder has tons of fun games out there. I have another Days of Wonder game on my list. And again, I'll be shocked if that one's not on there. We got to have some that are the same. We have to. What are your thoughts on Ticket to Ride?
Oh, it's too low on your list.
Okay, I was gonna ask you. I was like, don't talk about it if it's on your list. I'll wait then. Okay.
No. The only thing I'm going to say about Ticket to Ride, I guess I'll talk about something else when it may or may not come on my list.
All right, spoiler alert.
The only thing I'm going to say about Ticket to Ride, it is so, like, if you're playing with somebody who's played before, you can sit down and knock out like 3 or 4 games of Ticket to Ride, blink of an eye. It is so fun, man. It is
honestly the hardest thing to learn in this game, and I'm not even kidding. The hardest thing to learn is the draw mechanics. Like, when you are allowed to take 2 cards versus just taking 1. Like, that's it. That's all you have to learn, right? I mean, that's it.
For me and my girlfriend, the hardest thing for us to remember, because we play so fast and we're so used to playing with each other.
Whose turn it is?
No, not that. When you do the really easy, I'm going to build one. I want to spend 1 card to build 1 train, and you forget to move your points.
Oh my god, the point thing needs to be some. They need to invent some type of like Ticket to Ride magic that just moves the thing for you, because not moving your victory points indicator is your own fault, but it'll happen.
Yeah, not moving the own victory point indicator is the only drawback to this game.
Hey, what's going on, Matt? Glad to have you here, Matt. Good to see you. All right, so we're here. We just did Ticket to Ride. That was my number 8. So it's my turn to start round 7, I guess, right? Okay. This game is a game that I just got maybe 2 weeks ago. I've played it 5 times now, and it is just elegant. Like it's just like like it just works. It
Light
has
up a cigar, Colby. Let's do it.
no. Yeah, it's not classy. Okay, it's not that. It it is a really really goofy game. Matt, we were actually talking about Monopoly earlier. It's definitely a game that is cutthroat if you play it the way that you're supposed to. All right, so I'm gonna go throw this up here. My number 7 is Quacks of Quedlinburg, and I'm gonna see if you have any idea what that is, John.
Let's say you're high as a kite right now, Colby. You're not even making any sense right now.
So this is originally a German game that they recently, within the last few years, made a American English version, and you are at this sort of festival, carnival type thing, and your character, quote unquote, is a quack doctor who is a alchemist, right? And you are trying to build a potion without having the pot explode. And there's a mechanic where you kind of go in like a spiral with these different ingredients. You get to buy more ingredients over the different rounds. There's 9 rounds in the game. And it's cool because you don't get to look in your bag. Like, that's the one rule in this game. You cannot look in your bag. So what you pull out to put into the potion is totally luck-based for the most part. And, dude, my son is 7 years old, and he has won every time we've played. And he is the biggest...
No, you're just terrible at the game. He's terrible at the game.
He's the biggest cheater, dude, and he doesn't need to be. Like we started telling him like, hey, you need to develop a new strategy, and he's like, well, part of my strategy is looking in the back, and we're like, you can't do that. So yeah, we played this the other night at some friends. Actually, I think Eric's in the chat. I don't know if he's still hanging around, but we played it at Eric's house, and let me know, Eric, if you're still in the chat, what you thought about that. What's going on, Brian? Yeah, dude, Quacks of Quedlinburg is so fun. John, I really think you will like this game. I'm interested to see, what happens when we play it. Have you heard about this game at all or no?
No, with the exception of the little bit you've told me about it. No, I am not. You sent me a few pictures. It looks pretty. But again, nope, I have never laid hands on this game.
It's super fun. It's a bag.
Seen it before,
it's a bag building game, that you throw in. You throw in like more components each round. But you can also blow up your pot and then bad things happen and stuff like that. So, yeah. So anyway, what are we at now? That's number 7. John, what do you have for your number 7?
Oh man, my number 7, ladies and gentlemen. I started thinking about what we were talking about Dominion earlier, and
it's another deck builder.
It's a deck builder. This game coming up is a deck builder. However, this one was just more up my alley. I think it's just a little bit more flashier.
Wait a minute.
Oh, no, you don't get to pick.
Does it have deck builder in its name?
It does have deck builder in its name.
I'm sorry, I kind of gave it away there.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, my number 7 is the DC deck builder game. That game, I have played it. I played it so much I've worn cards out, man. I love that game so much. It has got a ton of replay value. You start the game and you can either draw or you can pick one of our 7 members of the Justice League. They all play differently. They all have their pros and their cons. Again, if you love deck builders and you love DC Comics, this game is freaking great. There is something about just like, again, you play with a couple people that know what they're doing. Do you play attacks when you have to? Do you buy attacks when you have to? Do you just go on this mean run and try to kill all the supervillains that gives you all the victory points and then you win the game that way? I cannot say enough good things about the DC deck building game. I had a ton of fun playing it. There's never been an instance where I'm like, oh my God, will this hurry up and end? No, even when you're losing, you're like, is there a chance I can come back? Can I get a really good run of my cards? Have I built a good enough deck where I can knock out last 2 or 3 supervillains that gives me a buttload of VPs right at the end. So anyway,
I think I've played this once with you, and I really enjoyed it. And like you said, it's just anybody can play it, and especially if you like the source material, this is right up your alley.
So that's I think that's it. If you love deck builders, you love DC Comics, man. There isn't a wrong note in the entire box.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Am I going right into number 6?
Yeah, give me your number 6.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, it has come to this. Number 6. We're through.
We're
the
not
first
quite halfway
half.
there.
Woo, dude. Okay, so number 6. I cannot tell you about how I am a slave every time a new expansion comes out. I don't even want to buy it at this point. I have nowhere to put it. I've got this game is freaking huge. It is very close to being a deck builder. However, it is not a deck builder. Ladies and gentlemen, you take your 2 factions, you shuffle them up, you play a game, you see who wins. The game I'm talking about is Smash Up. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot play a game that has Star Wars, Transformers, tornadoes, sharks, zombies, aliens, pirates, and ninjas all in one game unless you are playing Smash Up. There is something about playing your zombie aliens. And again, you don't even have to play zombie aliens. You have I don't even know how many different expansions.
I like this game.
Expansions or factions that there are. You can be completely random. You can reach in this box of hundreds of cards, pull 2 out, and be like, "Oh, I'm playing. Look at this box right now. I'm gonna play Alien Ninjas this game." And then you're playing, I'm going to play Dinosaur Robots this game. It is freaking amazing. I am a huge, huge advocate for replayability. I have never, ever in my entire life, especially after you own on the expansions, you will never see the same race combo or deck combo ever again. It is nigh impossible. Pretty much the deal is you take your deck, you try to put more stuff on bases before your opponent. Eventually, there's only so much stuff that could take place at any one base. Once there's too many people there, the base explodes. Whoever's got the most people there, the highest amount of victory points. So the first one to get to team victory points, I believe, wins the game. Super fun, super fast, super replayable, man. That is, dude.
Replayability is a big deal for me.
Me as well, dude. If you could sit, again, I think me and Colby probably sat down for Jesus till the early hours of the morning. We probably started playing Dominion probably like 9 p.m. one night. We played until 4 o'clock in the morning, man.
Yeah, and we were like, what year is it?
But anyway, so Smash Up, in my opinion, is the exact same way, where you get so much different stuff you get so much bang for your buck when you go to buying Smash Up and all the expansions. You whip out. It looks a little daunting now. I will say that's the drawback. For a newer player, just not getting into it, it looks a little daunting. Where do I start? What do I do? Where do I go? I cannot tell you guys, if you are interested in playing this game, go pick up the base set. It's 8 different decks, and they all work pretty well together. Sit down, knock it out, have a friend over, sit down with somebody who's played it before. You will learn this game, everything you know about this game in, again, the first 2 games that you play.
Yeah,
super, super fun.
I've talked to a lot of people, whenever we host game nights and stuff, not to get on a super tangent, but I talked to a lot of people that don't play a lot of board games that are victory point based, and that's at first it's very daunting for new players to learn that kind of stuff. But a lot of these games look like they have complicated rule sets, but they really don't when you just break the game down and just play it. A game is much more complicated when you read the rule book. I know that sounds weird, but just go watch a YouTube video on how it's played and just play it,
Completely agree.
Yeah, Eric said a proper session of Smash Up lasts until you've gone through every deck.
Oh, God.
Yeah. All right. So what are we on? 6, right?
6.
All right. I mentioned earlier how I kind of prefer these kind of quick games sometimes, and it's just because when we're doing game nights and stuff, we don't necessarily want to play one game, just one game. We may want to play, we like Love Letters, kind of like the appetizer, right? This game is like the salad that comes out before the main course, okay? But it's a good salad. It's like the best salad you've ever had. It involves
they get a choice of dressing with that salad.
Yeah, it's like a chicken Caesar. It's like a good healthy salad, healthy portion salad, I should say. It involves, there's dice, there's a board, there's money mechanic, there's cards, there's victory points. I mean, it has it all with modern stuff, and it is King of Tokyo.
Ooh,
and
that's a tasty jam.
This is just
a tasty salad.
This is yeah, exactly. This is one of those games that, again, anybody can play. And if you have never played this game, like ever, this is one of those games where, like, let's say we had 5 people or 6 people playing. If you've never played, we would put you in the 5th and 6th slot, and the first 4 players would just play, and you would easily be able to pick it up based on the first 4 players, because it's you roll the dice 3 times, you save what you want, you buy what you want, your turn is over. Like, it's really easy. I mean, it looks really daunting, but it's really not. These games take maybe 20 minutes, and that's if you're teaching someone. I also just got King of New York, which is, as I understand, is not an expansion to this game. It's actually its own separate game. So really interested to try that out as well. King of Tokyo has some really good expansions. The base game, it doesn't really matter what monster you pick. Like, there's no stats involved. There's just hearts and, like, there's health and victory points. The expansion adds a little bit to it because it actually kind of matters what monster you pick, because each monster gets different card bonuses, like offense, defense, what have you. So really enjoy what I call the Kung Fu Panda expansion for this game. Really great game. Anybody can play it. Yellow is the company that makes it, and they don't make any bad games. So definitely check out King of Tokyo if you have not yet. Super, super fun. John, any thoughts on that before we go to number 5?
I think the only reason spoiler alert, King of Tokyo is not on my list.
Oh, you bastard.
Yeah, I know. But the only reason King of Tokyo is not on my list, it's because it's one of those games that I have played too much, and I feel like I have seen it all. Again, when it comes to the base game, especially when, like, Colby, you just said it. When you introduce the Panda expansion, I forget what the name of it is. When you introduce the Panda expansion, it's at another layer.
It's a different game.
What this game needs.
It's a different game. Yeah.
But the King of Tokyo base game, an oversimplified version of it is a big King of the Monster.
Last man standing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So if you take, like, again, but at the same time, I would still recommend it. Like, this is not a bad game at all. King of Tokyo is not a bad game at all. I just, again, the base game is just missing a little something.
Like I said, it's the appetizer. It's not the main course. You know what I mean? No. It's great. It's great for every game night. You throw it in, play 2 games every game night, and you're done in 30 minutes. Move on to the next game. Super fun.
If you literally said, like, you gave me the menu, if I sat down at your house, like, welcome to Colby's game night, this is what we will be having this evening. Like, oh yeah, it's Love Letter. Yeah. So, King of Tokyo. Now, nice. I would not complain about those first 2 courses.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Right.
So, really quick, Colby, before we go any further, do I have a second? Get some meat.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Now, when you left, I talked about how you were with me. You had to give me a hug as we left the theater together, because that was the first time we ever saw a movie that we felt robbed us of our money. Mortal Kombat Annihilation. So I'll be right back.
All right. I swear to God, if you're lying and I'm just going to, like, go into this whole diatribe and you didn't talk about this and now you're just doing this.
I literally got Mortal Kombat Annihilation out of my mouth as you came back and sat down. I'm going to be right back.
All right. So, Jonathan and I and his brother Jeremy and a couple of friends of ours, Sam and TJ, we're in high school at the time. So we all, like, we were just now, like, able to drive. So it was like one of the first movies we just, like, went to straight after school, just drove, each other to go see it, because we were so pumped based on the first movie, because as cheesy as Mortal Kombat is, it's the movie. It's sort of like a guilty pleasure for all of us, because it's a great video game and one of the best video game adaptations for movies. So we went and saw Mortal Kombat Annihilation because, how could it be bad? They've got more characters this time, and Liu Kang was coming back, and Katana was coming back, and all this stuff, and it is just the biggest festering turd ever seen. And I remember, like, when the movie ended, I think we all just sort of sat there and just like let the credits roll. And this was before like after credit scenes. Like we weren't staying for the after credit scene. Like we were so numb. And I just remember like going home. And we all went to Jonathan's house, and we were playing some video game or something, and like nobody had said a word like for like 2 hours. And then like and Jonathan and his brother, I think, are playing some N64 game based on the time frame it had to be. And I was just like, yo, that movie sucked. after 2 hours, nobody has said anything. And then like, dude, they just start crying. They're just like, what the hell was this? You had to be there. You just had to be there. And that's it.
Again, man, that was the first time ever I spent money in a movie. Like, I have seen some crap in the theaters before then. You know what I'm saying?
But I was telling him like this was one of the first movies like where we could all drive, and we went there like after school because we thought we were like cool, like
opening day,
absolutely, yeah. It was like one of the first shows, yeah.
Anyway, I still like the soundtrack.
God, you've been tricked.
Stop it. We got to stop. All right. So
it was so easy.
I think we are going on to your number 5. Sir.
Yes, my number 5. All right. This is a game that you I'm not going to use the word turn me on to, but this is a game that you turn me on to.
And I already know what it is. Twister.
What?
Twister.
Twister? No.
Twister.
No. Stop saying that. So, all right. This is a game that, again, typical of the games on my list, looks really daunting, but at the end of the day, anybody can play it and has a super simple rule set and is just super fun, and you never get the same game twice. Small World.
Ooh, bravo, sir.
So this game just rules, dude. This game is stacked, dude. It's got everything. It's got everything. It's got pillaging orcs. It's got mounted giants. It's got wealthy dwarves, or it has pillaging dwarves, or it has mounted elves, or like the game is never the same because you have an attribute that you combine with a race, and it gives you X amount of things, and you take over a small world. There's a map that you move you have certain numbers of army of soldiers, I guess, and you take over little parts of the map and you collect victory points, and it is just the most fun thing ever. John, go.
I'm not going to say anything.
Okay, so this is even higher on your list. Okay, cool.
No.
I love this game. Matter of fact, hold on. I love this game. This game's awesome.
Oh, man. Smart World's pretty tasty. If this was right after your salad course, or as one of the options after the salad course.
Yeah. This is a nice French onion soup with a little baguette. Like that's what this is.
Yeah. Or maybe like I said, it's the option. It's like we could do this or something else. And
right.
Small World would most likely have my vote, but yeah, Small World's pretty good, pretty tasty game you got there.
All right. So your number 5.
My number 5. Well, since we've already talked about it a little bit, this will be really quick. My number 5, something, again, we've already talked about it. Once you've played it, once, maybe twice, you know the ins and outs. The reason it's so far up on my list is it is family friendly, and you can just sit down with 5 people and knock it out. Even when you have 5 people, it doesn't take that long to play. And I'm talking about Ticket to Ride.
There we go.
Is my number 5, and as much as I love all my board games with all the complicated rules and this, that, and the other. I love the simplicity of it. I love, like, you're just playing with two people and the other person, that's playing, and you guys kind of feel each other out. You do get those two hard tickets. They're both at the very beginning. You just happen to draw two 20-point tickets. Like, you could challenge yourself. It's like, can I get this done?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's so, and again, the other reason I love it, there is a strategy to it. Your strategy should 100% change if you're playing with a fourth person or a
Yeah.
fifth person. It is no longer
3 is the sweet spot for this game, I think.
Yeah, 3. Yeah, I think as well that 3 is the sweep because it's just a little bit of opposition. I was explaining this to Colby a couple weeks ago. 2 players in Ticket to Ride, it is 100% possible. Colby gets all the East Coast rails, and I get all the West Coast rails. We never interact the entire game.
Right. It's just sort of like keeping to yourself. Yeah, for sure.
It's a race. It's a race at that point.
Yeah.
Who could get the most crap done in the certain amount of time? But for some reason, you throw a third person in there, you get one of the West, and they get one of the East, and everyone's mad at everybody for the entirety of the game. However, I will do a little caveat here, Colby, a little bonus. If I had to pick any one of me and my girlfriend, we own, I think, all the expansions and other versions of Ticket to Ride. And my favorite, if I had to pick one, Classic is good. There's absolutely nothing wrong with Classic. I think the primo Ticket to Ride game is Ticket to Ride Europe.
Europe. Yep, I was going to say that.
Ticket to Ride Europe is a freaking blast. There is hard to get, even when you're playing with multiple people, it's hard to get, cornered. It's harder to get stuck somewhere. It is just, Ticket to Ride Europe, I think, I'm not going to say leaps and bounds better than the original. It just, again, has that a little bit more things you can do.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but like on my list, like especially like King of Tokyo, Dominion, like I'm including the expansion packs in the game. You know what I mean? Like choose whichever ones you want, that kind of stuff.
And like, so that would be my only caveat to Ticket to Ride. If I had to pick a one, it would be Europe. If you asked me, hey John, Ticket to Ride or Ticket to Ride Europe, I'd pick Europe every time. Just I just enjoy it that much more. So that's all. So you got anything else you want to say about Ticket to Ride? You've already covered.
No, I mean, yeah, it's just a wholesome game that you can just set up in 2 minutes and play, and then you're done and have some good conversation and just hang out and play a simple game. I mean, you can play this with a bunch of adults. You can play it with kids. You can. I mean, there's a junior version of this game too. That's actually really cool. Cannot recommend this game enough. Just a very wholesome game.
We could probably make an entire video about. We start streaming board games. I know it's in the works.
Yeah,
this will probably be one of our.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
It's just
actually,
so easy and so fluid.
All right, so that was your number 5, right?
Yep. So it means we're going into
give me your number 4.
All right, my number 4, ladies and gentlemen. I know Colby touched on this in his honorable mentions. It is one of the games that I have played way too much, but at the same time, it has tremendous replay value. No game is ever the same. I think 2 players is a lot of fun. 3 players is the sweet spot. 4 is okay. 5 is too many people playing this damn game.
Can I take a guess?
Yes.
Lords of Waterdeep.
It's totally Lords of Waterdeep. Yes, it is 100% Lords of Waterdeep. It's an amazing freaking game. Again, you've played it. Again, now this is a game. You want to talk about games you like put a whole bunch of like little pieces in front of somebody and the board is sprawling and you're handing them cards and they have a lord that says they have to do certain cards for bonus victory points. Incredibly daunting at first. When you realize that it is seriously, it's once you get it, you got it. And you'll never forget how to play this game. Yep. And you can start your entire strategy by looking at your lord and the first 2 cards you get, the first 2 quests you get. And you can just zing out from there. So much fun. And you can build crazy. I know it's really hard to explain unless you play the game, but you can get these really crazy combos. You can get cards that let you get stuff that when you get stuff, your quest you've already completed give you bonus stuff. And it is just when you you have the orchestrated machine you're looking for, and you're looking across at your opponent, they're sweating bullets. He's like, I got you. I am the Lord of Waterdeep. You got
I can't wait
anything you
to
want to
play
add?
it. I just
Yeah,
gonna
there
say,
you go.
can't wait to play it. I bought it a week ago. I have been watching some videos on it. Really looking forward to playing it. I can tell right away it's definitely the kind of game that that I want to play.
Tons of great stuff to say about Lords of Waterdeep. There is an expansion for it. Pretty much there's one expansion that introduces a new core mechanic. I would suggest not playing that. I think it's the Scoundrels of Skullport. Stay away from that one. However, there's another expansion. I believe it comes with the same damn box that is literally like throws some money at you. It is like it's Lords of Waterdeep, but it allows you to do so much more. You earn more money, and the board gets crazy. You've got a million things you can do at one time. But I think that's a lot more fun. Wait, Lords of Waterdeep, number 4. Was it number 4? Yeah,
Yeah.
number 4.
So mine number 4 is not a board game, and you're gonna say, how the hell is it on this list if it's not a board game? It qualifies because you play it on a table during game night, like you do. Okay, so this game has an official like set of dice where the dice are lettered and colored a certain way, but my favorite way to play is just with 5 regular, 6-sided dice. This is a game that anybody can play. It can go for hours if you wanted to. It all depends on how many people you have, what you set the maximum number of points to be, and it can be unbelievably frustrating because it's one of the only games that you play that you cannot actually score. The person to your left has to either give you the points or take them from you based on dice rolls. And this game is called drum roll, John.
Oh, drum roll. I'm sorry.
I'm kidding.
I'm going to say it.
Yeah, go ahead and say it.
It's Greed.
Greed. This is a game that is super fun, and you need to play it. You need 5 dice and a pen and paper or a pencil and paper, and that's all you need. Or a phone and a notepad. Like, it's super easy. You roll the dice. You're looking for 1s and 5s, or you're looking for triples. 3 3s, 3 4s, that kind of stuff. And 1s and 5s have different values, and you're constantly going up with your point value. You have to get to a certain threshold before you can pass your points. You can't just say, okay, I'll take the points and stop. Like, that's not what this game is. It's called Greed for a reason. You have to figure out if you're ready to stop playing. Like, let's say you've rolled 3 dice that are good, and the other 2 are not scoring dice, so you want to pass them. Like, let's say Jonathan's to my left, and I pass them to him. He can look at my point total and say, okay, you've got 1,200 points. I'm not going to give you those 1,200 points because that's a lot.
Absolutely not.
It's a lot for one roll. So he's going to then take the dice and roll them, and he's only got 2, so he needs a 1 or a 5 or multiples. If he gets a 1 or a 5 on either one of the die, then he takes all of my points, and then now it's his turn, and he gets to keep going and then pass the deck and so on and so on. It can go around as many times as you allow it to without someone busting or that kind of stuff, and it's so fun. John, I know we played this a lot. Any thoughts on Greed?
My only thought on Greed, it is the best way to play. I know there's multiple ways to play this game out there, and I forget what it's called. Like, I have friends that play it at bars, you know what I'm saying? But they play it the way where you just decide, it's like, oh, I rolled 2 1s and a 5. I'm just going to keep my 250, and they pass the dice.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Greed, again, that aspect of it, like that anxiety, that how greedy are you? Like, the name of the game, man.
I think the version,
so much better.
I think the one you're referring to, most people call Zilch. Because, like, eventually you will roll 0 and stuff like that, and you don't get your points. But Greed is much better because you can't just stop and take your points. The person next to you has to give them to you or try to take them from you. And that's when it gets super frustrating because it can come back around and you could be 17,000 points, and then that one roll will win the game. You know, whatever you set the limit to. Most people played at like 5,000.
I have a little caveat for your greed. We'll talk about little rules change for you. See how it would fly with you. I know you're a traditionalist, and it's really hard for me to be like, "How about we try this?" And Colby's like, "No, I don't like it. No, fuck that."
I've softened a little bit in my old age with regard to playing greed. So remember how we used to play where like a triple is good, right? Like three threes is 300, but 4 threes was just 300, and that other three means nothing.
Yeah.
So now we play where like if you get 4, you double it. If you get 5, you quadruple it. So like 4 threes would be 600. Right, and it's cool because it just gets you on the board faster. Because if you haven't played this game, you have 0 points to start the game, but you can't even get the opportunity to score until you've gotten 1,000. So you have to roll all 5 dice, and then let's say you get a 1 or a 5. You set those aside, you grab the remaining dice, you keep rolling.
Yep.
You have to keep going up until you get to at least 1,000. Then you have the opportunity to pass. And let's say I get 1,200 points. John tries to take them and fails or whatever, and I get 1,200. I only get 200 because the first 1,000 is your like buy-in to the game. The first 1,000 literally gets your name written on the score sheet. So but once one person is on the board, now you can stop. Like I can stop at like 200, but John can't because he's not on the board yet, right? So it's cut. If you never get on the board, Sam Gutting, you will hate this game, dude. If you're rolling 3s all night, TJ Austin, you will hate this game. Okay.
No, and that was going to be my caveat because there does come a point that person who gets on the board first can start nickel and diming you, baby.
Right? Yeah.
They'll score. They'll just roll 4
But
times.
remember though, if you're to the left of someone who is on the board and you're not, that actually helps you too because they could pass you 300, 400 points that you can take from them. So it's super fun. Yeah, Matt, that sounds like he probably played a different version. All right, John. Have you given me your number 4? I can't remember where we're at.
No. Hang on, let me look. Yes, my number 4 was Lords.
All right. Oh, okay. So
we're going on to your number 3.
Okay. All right. Give me 1 second. Your sound on my side is being a little weird. I hope it's not coming across on the stream. Hang on 1 second, okay?
Well, I'm waiting. You hear me now?
Okay, there we go.
Take the very best part of me.
You sound better now. You were really staticky. I hope that wasn't coming across on the stream. It only doing that for a couple minutes. All right, I'm doing number 3 now.
Yes, you are number 3.
All right, I'm gonna give you a hint.
Yes, sir.
Okay, again, not a board game. Again, not a board game. Not a real board game. Okay, so blank plus blank equals blank.
Blank plus blank equals blank.
It's a type of thing you may encounter in this game. Or okay, how about blank plus blank equals profit?
Oh no!
It is okay. It's a
Is it Cards Against Humanity?
Yeah, Cards Against Humanity.
Oh my god!
I was gonna say it's a very black and white game. So, literally,
you should have led with that one. You should have led with it's a very black and white game.
So, you want to know who your real friends are, okay?
Do not invite over random people to play Cards Against Humanity.
When you have to watch one of your best friends explain to your mother-in-law what queefing is, you know who your real friends are. That's all I'm going to say. And by the way, don't pick your own card. Okay? Just don't pick your own card when you're the judge. Okay, come on. You're better than that.
Oh my god.
Cards Against Humanity is a I'm not going to say ripoff. It is a better version of another game called Apples to Apples. Apples to Apples is much more family friendly. You do not want to play Cards Against Humanity with family members. you just don't do it. I mean, sorry, with kids, like young kids. It's the tagline says it all. It is a party game for horrible people. John, we've played this game for hours. Any thoughts on Cards Against Humanity? Not Crabs Adjust Humidity, which is the other like offshoot of this. Any thoughts on Ka?
Dude, okay. First off, I think, again, this is all my personal opinion. I think Cards Against Humanity is a little overrated.
Oh, you suck.
I know. If you play with the same people, it is incredibly boring.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is a game you want to have a ratio, like a different ratio, like every time, you know,
like I think
or rotation rather.
Every game that we've mentioned so far on our entire list, me and you could sit down and play Dominion. You still have fun playing Dominion, but if me and you sat down and played Cards Against Humanity, it would last probably 2 or 3 rounds before
for sure.
I don't want to play this anymore. And then, and I'm not knocking anybody's significant other, but even if it was me, you, and our ladies, we'd still be like, I want to play this. You know what I'm saying?
This is definitely, and that's what I was talking about earlier. Like, this is a game you want to play with people once or twice, and then play it with different people every time, because it just gets to the point where like they know, like you can tell, like I can tell what card Janina puts down. Like I just know, and it's one of those games you need to play it once with every set of friends that you have or whatever. It's a fun game, but you're right, it does get repetitive. But there's something to be said about how simple the game is.
You're right. And I remember like we broke it out for a family Christmas, and
there you go. Yeah,
we had my grandmother, my liberal lesbian aunts, my conservative straight uncles, and we're all sitting at a table, and it's me, and of course, and Colby will attest to how animated me and my brothers are, and we're all sitting in a circle playing Cards Against Humanity, and every time anyone answers anything, we're all like leaning back, taking a sip, just waiting to see everyone's face.
And that's what I'm talking about. Like, play it 1 or 2 times with a group of people, and then play it with someone else, because it's great to see, like, you find out things about people you didn't know. You know what I mean?
Like seeing my grandmother ask, "What did I have for breakfast?" And I slid her sassy black woman. That was the answer on the card. So it's just like, and she had to say that out loud. Like, I'm not saying that.
Nice. So Matt said he loves this game, and he owns 100% of them so far. That's awesome.
Nice, man. So you own the bigger, blacker box.
All right, John. So that was my number 3. What do you got? I'm starting to draw a blank on. Oh, I know what your number 1 is. I'm starting to draw a blank on. I'll say this. I gambled with the thumbnail regarding your number 1, and I'll be shocked if it's not. Because if it's not, it's going to come right here or 2. What do you got for number 3?
Number 3, ladies and gentlemen, Colby has already touched on it, is the other one that got pseudo spoiled for me, is Small World. We have come all the way full circle. I think this is the last copy that we're going to have.
That's good. We had a couple of overlaps, but nothing. Not too many.
Yeah, dude, again, Small World, what you're going to notice a lot of the my number 1 thing when it comes to playing a board game, is it fun? How many times are going to play the damn thing? And Small World is a game, again, where it's never, ever, 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 ever the same game twice. Ever. Depending on the person you play with, depending on how the races and abilities fall in line, being able to play your own deity, and you have chosen that the wealthy Ratman will lead you on a grand conquest.
Oh my god.
You're like, oh, this is really cool. And then Colby gets, whack dwarves or whatever the hell. And he's like, oh, wow, I don't want to. stupid. I don't want to deal with no bivouac dwarves. And then as Colby pulls his race off of the column, flipping all the way up at the top, shining there, nice and pretty, are flying sorcerers or
Marauding orcs, yeah.
or Dragon Master Amazons. And you're like,
Dragon Master halflings.
Dude, Dragon Master halflings. It's just something stupid comes across. And then you're like, you know what, Ratman? Had a good run. And you go, just like, goodbye, wealthy Ratman. You did me good. You did me a solid. But wait, yeah. And then, of course, there isn't a bad expansion in this game. I think there's 4 or 5, maybe more. I know that there's been Underworld, which is a small world variant. There is a World of Warcraft small world out there that I do believe is
it called small? Is it called Small World of Warcraft? Because if it's not, it's a complete fail. Okay.
I think it is Small World of Warcraft. So again, I'm not gonna keep going on about Small World. If you haven't played it, it is a game. Again, you play it one damn time. What Colby said with King of Tokyo. If there's 3 players sitting there and the first 2 people know what they're doing,
dude, I'm telling you right now,
you get
man.
to your turn, you get there.
I'm telling you right now. You play Love Letter for 30 minutes. You play KOT for 30 minutes. You play Small World for an hour. That's a game night, dude. That is a game night right there.
And it's amazing. They're like, I think, like I said, with the exception of, again, I think the only one I would even harp on your list, on either of our lists, was Cards Against Humanity. But that's only if it was like me, you, and our ladies again, because we've all played the damn game before. You know?
Yeah, if it's your usual crew, you want to play something else for sure.
Yeah. So, but I think that's the only hiccup in our entire list is Cards Against Humanity. But anyway, you got anything else you want to add to Small World, Colby?
I mean, we've touched on it. I mean, it's a game for everybody. It doesn't take too long to learn. Just don't get too attached, especially to those spirit ghouls. Don't get too attached.
There are some races you might have a good run with particular skeletons that might take you for a while, but
I just mean, like, don't plan your entire strategy based around one race, because like that's not what this game is about. Like,
turn one,
get him in decline, and then get your other one.
Yep.
All right, so that was your number 3. So it's now time to do your number 2. I know what your top 2 is. I'm not gonna say it, but if it's not these, I'll be shocked.
Yeah, my number 2. Colby gets a text message once about, this is my number 2. Colby gets a text message about every 3 or 4 months asking him to come play a game. And the only reason I ask him, because I want him to come on out.
I'll play it.
I want him to try.
This may be a good game to actually stream and just do it. You know what I mean?
It's better for like a web series. This game
right.
that I'm about to say.
That's what I mean, yeah.
This game would be better for a web series because I want you to be like, you know what? It's not for me, but holy shit. It is. I never thought I would love a game that doesn't have any 100% nothing random. There is no drawing of a card. There's no rolling of a dice. There isn't any, hey, you've got a better piece than me. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about we're talking about the structure of the events that lead to World War I. I am talking about the game Diplomacy is what I'm talking about. Diplomacy, there is never, ever, ever a time somebody says, hey, John, you want to play Diplomacy? There's never a time, like, if I'm out of town, no, I can't play. But this game takes, even a quick game, even if it's a game you guys don't plan on playing that long, a quick game of this game is about 4 hours long.
Yeah, but most games are like 6 to 8, though, right?
Oh, my God, yeah. If somebody asks me, if I say yes, if I commit to playing a game of Diplomacy, I make sure that I'm not working. I make sure that there's at least 2 weeks between the time I get asked and the time I can go play. I let my family know. Tell people that have invited me to birthdays I'm not gonna be able to make it because I am playing damn Diplomacy. And guys, there is. So
this game is 100% skill based on how good the player is.
It is based
how good the player is. It's like good at like diplomacy,
Yeah,
basically.
it's 100%
Wow.
about diplomacy. And that's the other thing. You go into it, the game is highly recommended you play with a full lot. So you play one of the 7 powers of Europe going into World War One. You need somebody to pilot each of those 7 powers. It is also highly recommended you have a moderator there. So one of the 7 powers can go to the moderator and be like, hey, I'm trying to write this order. So if you're Germany trying to go to France, but you've already told France that you're not going to France, you can't ask France how to write the order.
Oh my God.
So you need a neutral party for the game just so they can do rules questions and stuff like that. Dude, and the other thing is you can have the most sound strategy in the world. 6 other people do not want you in that game. You're not going to be in that game very long.
Yeah,
And
man. Yeah, I'll check it out. It's just, here's the thing. It's not that I don't want to play for 6 hours. Like, I just can't. Like, I mean, it's, yeah. My days of doing nothing but video games for an entire day are over, so, our World of Warcraft sessions are just not a thing anymore. But yeah, I am interested to see this game be played, because I know you wouldn't keep asking me about it if it sucked,
And I think you would. I think you would be like, and again, I think it would be game that you played it once. You'd be like, wow, I really appreciate that. I never want to play it again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, wow,
yeah,
that's fun.
That's fine. I mean, if it ends up being that way, then at least I did it, and you can stop asking me. So
I would totally. And I think, spoiler alert, I think we have a game brewing out there in the Nether right now. We're probably going to play in May. See, that's the other thing. We're in mid-March.
Yeah, you got to plan it. That's true.
We're playing a game in May, right? So anyway, diplomacy. My number 2, Colby, get it.
Okay. My number 2 is a game that, again, anybody can play. If you are not familiar with the concept of victory points or resource gathering or armies or building things, this is definitely a very good place to start. It has a number of expansions. I think the game is fine by itself, but as with most games that I've played, the first expansion tends to be the version of the game that just sings, right? I am talking about baby's first strategy game, Settlers of Catan.
Oh yeah, it made the list.
I'm assuming you knew that one, right?
As soon as you said resource gathering, I was like,
right.
"Oh, he's talking about Catan."
Yeah, I wasn't talking about your namesake, Agricola, which I'm surprised on your list. Just because, well, maybe it is. Maybe it's number 1. Maybe you pulled a fast one. Settlers of Catan is great. The first expansion, Seafarers, really sort of opens up this game to a really, really nice playable level. Again, totally fine with the base game. With 4 people, there's luck involved, there's strategy, there's some diplomacy. You got to trade, hey, I've got sheep I need wood. Who has wood for my sheep? And then you start by erecting your settlements. Dude, what do you want from me? It's just a fun game.
It writes itself. It totally writes itself.
Yeah, sometimes, the low-hanging fruit, This game is about building roads. It's about amassing armies, sort of. It's about building resources, gaining victory points by different methods. There's a few different ways to play this game, and it's a fun game. It's not as advanced as a lot of other games out there, but not everyone wants games that are just riddled with rules. This isn't Scythe, which is like a very popular game, but also has a lot of rules. This is just a very toned down strategy game. The expansions can get a little crazy, like Cities and Knights and Traders and Barbarians. This is a little nuts. Seafarers is probably my favorite version of the game, which is the first expansion. They introduce ships, actual like boats into the game, and there's water and stuff, and you can discover islands and things like that, which is really cool. But this game is played on a map, and you can play this game in 1 hour. You can play it in 3. You know, it's all depending on pace of play. If you're teaching new people how to play, it can take a while, but I've played this with my parents. I've played it with friends. I've played it with in-laws, stuff like that. It's a great game. John, I know we've played this several times. Any thoughts on Catan?
Man, good old Settlers of Catan. It earns its merits simply on being first game people play when they step away from Milton Bradley.
Yeah, this is the approachable strategy game that's not like the American you collect money and win board game.
Yeah.
You know,
and so there are a ton of different positive things I can say about Catan. If you're playing with the right people, it is a lot of fun. Even if you're playing with the wrong people, you know, it can be a lot of fun. The only hang up about Catan is if you get too much of a lead too fast, you're not going to win.
You're not winning the game. Yeah.
You are not winning the game.
The dark horse always wins this game. Just period. The person that people don't pay attention to is who wins.
Yep. Dude, if you're that first guy that everyone's still just trying to like connect their first 2 settlements and you've already got 5 EPs, congratulations. You're not winning the game.
You're not winning. You're not getting another, like, you're going to have the robber like on, you're not getting another resource card the rest of the game.
So, you know? And speaking of that, again, and it's a little bit of the quirkiness where I don't really enjoy the RNG in Catan because that can stall it can literally like set up. Nobody has any wood or clay, and like
everybody needs it because you can't do anything without it.
And even if the clay and the lumber are on 6 and 8. 6 and 8s aren't being rolled.
It never hits, you know?
And so it's like, oh my God. And so anyway, like there could be a stall at the beginning where like nothing is happening. You're like, oh, wow, well, 6 and 8s are being rolled. That means you got like 4 ore, right? Yep. 4 ore. Okay, well, I'm going to trade in 4 ore that I'm going to need later.
Yeah.
Build a road now, you know? So, and the other hang up is, of course, like I said, you in the beginning of the game and you have 4 people, and it's not impossible, you know, you have those 4 or 5 rolls, 4 or 5 turns that are 7s.
Yeah, Eric put it really succinctly. He said Catan is a good gateway game. You know, you walk in, you're like, hey, you got strategy games? You know, like it's like I said, it's baby's first strategy game, and I don't mean to demean it. I mean, anybody can play it. It takes just a minor amount of setup, you know, to actually get started, and it's fun. Again, probably a game you want to play with a different set of people over time, not necessarily the same group of people every time, you know?
Yeah, because again, me and Colby, like, I just won 12-3 against Colby. Let's play again.
Right.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
All right, jackass, it's on. You know? Oh, you need wood? No, don't have any. I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's like, it's turn 1. Yeah, I don't have any fucking wood.
It's like, well, I just saw you draw it. No, you didn't. Yeah. You gotta admit though, the game is very well rounded. It has a lot of things. That people who are interested to take their sort of board game journey should be learning about. You know,
absolutely.
It's a gateway game. That's what it is. Eric nailed it. All right, so that brings us to our number 1. I guess it's my turn, right?
Hit us with your final pick, sir.
This is gonna sound so weird. Okay.
Oh no, it's Twister. Please don't let it be Twister.
It's not Twister. This is a game that I prefer to quasi DM. Like you don't. There's not really.
It is. There it is.
There's not. All right. There's not really a DM, a dungeon master in this game, but I have found this method of playing this game that I prefer to actually playing it. And people are like, that's insane. This is your favorite game of all time. You don't like playing it. And it's like, I love this game so much that I make it a mission to teach people who don't know anything about strategy games or role-playing games or this type of game to learn how to play. And it is not fair to them if I play with them. Right? It's just not. So I prefer to be their host, their ghost host, if you will.
And really quick before you say this, and
Yeah.
I feel the exact same way about my number one, and it shows you how much love
Exactly. It's hard.
that we have for these games.
It's hard
not
to
even
explain.
play it.
Yeah, it's hard to explain. Yeah. It's Betrayal at the House on the Hill. And this is one of those games, we've talked about it a few times. No playthrough is exactly the same. There's for those who've not played this game, stop watching the stream, go buy it. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it on Amazon. It's weird because like it takes a lot of setup. The rule book looks like it's huge and there's all these different like if then type of things, but like sit down and play this game and every time you play it'll be different. You start out in a what's up?
Or buy the game, bring it over to Colby's house and let him show you how to play.
Yeah, absolutely. Come over to my house. I've got it. Obviously, I will show you how to play. And again, I prefer to sort of be the narrator because you're in a haunted house and you start out on this first level and you've all been called there to attend the reading of a will, and that's what the like story says anyway. And you literally build the house as you explore it. You go into different rooms. You find different tiles that you place. It's a house building game. The board is different every time. The scenario, the victory mechanic in this game is different every time because there's a hero book or what do they a survivor's book, right? What do they call it? Survivor's tome. I think it's the survivor's tome and the trader's tome, and basically something happens at some point in the game, and then the haunt has started, and like you literally go read a book, and it tells you based on like a grid what haunt version you are on, and if you're the trader, like you have to leave the room to read your rule book because you're the trader. And then the other heroes and stuff stay in the other room to figure out their strategy. And sometimes it's a last man standing situation. Sometimes the survivors have to do X and the trader has to do Y. Sometimes it is a run out the clock situation. It's never the same. And I mean, yeah, there's a finite number of haunts in the book, but just go get the expansions. Like they just keep coming out with haunts. This game is so fun, and I really like being the quasi dungeon master for this game because I'll teach people like, hey, I'm not playing. I have no skin in this game. This is what I would do because blank. They'll do it. I have like a dice tower. Like I'll roll and everything. Like I'll try to treat it like a D&D campaign, and it's weird because I've never actually played D&D, but you know what I mean. John, thoughts on Betrayal?
My only thoughts on Betrayal on House of the Hill. I've played it a few times. And I've had this conversation because Colby can't talk about board games without him talking about Betrayal on the House of the Hill. I know he loves this game. And I appreciate how much he loves it. But however, the only few times I've played it, I was playing with somebody in Colby's position who was a, DM, but he was also playing the part of the haunt, the killer, I guess.
Yeah, see, that's lame. That's not fair.
And he made it a point to make sure that he killed us as fast as he possibly could. We did not know how to play the game.
Right.
And
yeah,
that's literally scrubbed
that
us
would
right.
definitely that would suck for sure.
And that is what I'm left with. That was my experience with Betrayal of the House of the Hill. And when something like that happens, it doesn't matter. You can be playing 10 out of 10 game, video game, any kind of experience. You know what I'm saying? You'd be like, oh, welcome to the Super Bowl, but we're gonna punch you in the face the entire time we're here.
Right.
You know, it's like, well, I went to the Super Bowl. You know, that's the only thing you can walk away with. You know, so
That's not bad.
I've got really nothing.
That's good.
Yeah. So anyway, I've got nothing to really add to the game itself or the gameplay experience. However, I will sit here and completely appreciate, like, there are a ton of people like Colby out there that love this series of games. So I'm not gonna like say don't go and try it. I would say make sure you play it with somebody like Colby though. Like play with somebody who is like not gonna hold your hand, but explain every step of the way because there is a lot to take in and it's very daunting. But he's like, I'm not. When Colby literally looks you in the face, he's like, I'm not trying to kill you. You need to do this.
Right.
Go and do X. You know what I'm saying? And I guarantee you, like, there will be a day where Colby's like, "Hey, play Betrayal on the Hill," and I'm like, "Sure, dude, sure, let's go knock it out." But yeah, I got really nothing to add about the game itself. I'm talking about like
you ever watch a movie or like play a video game that just like gets you, you know, and other people may not like it. That's what this is to me. Like it just. Like, if there was ever a board game that was made for me, like, it is this. And I got to thank Brian and Emily for, like, introducing me to this game several years ago. I mean, this game is made for me. It has everything that I like in a board game. It's a lot like Villainous in that regard where, like, you're not playing against other people until you are. and then it's on, you know?
So yeah, man, that's like I said, it's a lot of passion, a lot of enthusiasm about that game from Colby, and I'm not going to knock it as anyone's number one. Again, it's a very popular game. A lot of people love it. However, it could only be one for me as well. Colby, are you ready?
Hit me with it.
Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, the time has come. Welcome to John A's number one board game of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, there's an itty bitty little board game out there that the legitimate definition of it is fantasy football. And there is only one game.
Hey, I got it right.
I know you did. It's like, dude, there is not a single game that I will. Like, if Colby could get up and walk away and come back 3 hours from now, I'm still going to be talking about this game. My number one board game from Games Workshop is Blood Bowl. I can never, ever stop playing this game, talking about this game, getting excited about this game, playing the video games that come out, watching two other people play. Ladies and gentlemen, tell me this. What other board game can you play? A goblin kills a minotaur with a chainsaw.
What other game where a treant can throw a halfling across the field and
score a touchdown?
And score a touchdown.
Dude, it scratches every single itch. Me and Colby, you guys don't know, but we happen to be avid football fans. We love football. Blood Bowl is an English game, or an English company's game, Games Workshop, on American football.
Yeah, it's the real football.
Once you kick off, it's just chaos. What game could you have this amazing, perfectly built team, but before anything happens, a rock is thrown from the crowd and kills one of your players? Dude, it is absolute bonkers. You can play as dwarves. You can play as elves. You can be orcs. You can be ogres.
Werewolves.
You could be freaking werewolves, vampires. It has the RPG element. It has the fantasy. Oh, that's the other thing. You have a player. He's scoring touchdowns. He gains experience. He levels up. He gains better abilities. He gets stronger. You're playing.
You ever heard of the Saban bump in recruiting? He's a 3-star and Saban starts recruiting him and he becomes a 5-star. That's what this is. Like, you can level up while you're playing.
Dude. And what's cool is that you could take it out of the box and you could play a game, a friendly game, and have a fun time with it. Or you go into a vast league that takes months to play. And within your league, you have people talking about some of your players that are doing really good. It's like, oh, you got to watch John's Orc Blitzer. He's strength 5 with Mighty Blow. Holy shit. You're like, and then it's like, oh, wow, did you hear what happened to John? 2 of his linemen died last week. So he's going to be, it's like we have a really good chance to lose the next game. Dude, there is so much that goes on with Blood Bowl.
There's not really an injury list with this. There's like a death list.
You know? No, you can. Yeah. But see, that's another thing. It's like you can just be injured. You can miss the next game. You can minus an attribute.
I mean, I should have said not just an injury list.
There is so much to this itty bitty little game of Blood Bowl. Now, you want to talk about a cult following? I am in that cult, and I go to my local gaming store, and there is a game of Blood Bowl set up on the table. I'm pulling up a chair and I'm watching it. I do not have to play it. I just have to sit there and watch these guys saying, my dwarven longbeard is punching your witch elf in the face, and let's see what happens. Oh my god. And I feel it when the dice are cast and that player could be removed from this man's roster forever. I'm like, that happens imagine every time one of your guys trips over themselves, they can be removed from the game forever. It's just every time. A lot of the conservative players are the guys like, oh yeah, if you don't want your players to die, just don't roll dice. It's just like, just move them around the field, they'll be fine. Anyway, that is like, I know you've probably heard me talk at length about Blood Bowl before. I know you've never. I think I've tried to show you how to play.
We've played it. We played it.
Okay.
I was just gonna say, full disclosure, I think this game is fine. Like, here's the thing. Look, sacrilegious or whatever, I prefer to play it on computer.
Okay.
I like to play it on Steam because I don't have the patience for miniatures. Like, that's something like that's why I could never own Marvel Crisis Protocol, and we've got to play that game. We have to.
Dude, I'm looking at it right now. It's literally right there.
So like, I prefer to play this on computer because it's just boot it up, go to your roster and go, you know? This game is so like, I don't remember what game we talked about earlier that like it shouldn't work. Like, there's no reason at all that this game should be so good. Like, it shouldn't exist, right? But it just works. It just works. This game is so cool. And you only have to be like a quasi football fan to enjoy it, or even like a quasi fantasy fan to enjoy it. Like, if you like board games, like you'll like this game. I mean, it's fun. It's super fun. It's incredibly frustrating when you're playing someone who's really good because you don't have any idea what you're doing, but at the same time, it doesn't like, you don't ever feel like you're losing this game until you look over there and all your players are dead, and then it's that's different. But like, I knew this was going to be your number one, and kind of in the same way that you feel about Betrayal, I feel about Blood Bowl. Like, I've played it, it's fun. I'm not a master at it, but I can totally appreciate guys that have, tons of passion about it, or for it.
There's definitely a healthy group of people out there. Yeah, I mean, it's just the same thing. Like, you could spark a heated political debate when you talk about certain rules. It's like, do you guys call this rule? And just like, you'll see everybody come out of the woodwork and be like, you're only a salty player if you play that way, or whatever.
Right.
It's like, you're just a try hard if you use this build, or only losers play Skaven week 1.
Skaven. Yeah. All right. Well, you got anything else about here? You want to go over our list one more time? Just go over just like real quick.
Dude, let's do a rundown.
That's what I mean. Give me your top 10, starting at number 10.
My top 10, starting with number 10. Number 10, Dead of Winter, for all you zombie apocalypse RPG type lovers. Cthulhu Wars for all you lovers of ancient gods and want to go punch other ancient gods in the face. Go do it. Face Throne. If you like Yahtzee that can knock other players out of the game. DC Deck Builder. If you like deck builders and you like DC Comics, go pick this sumbitch up. You'll love it. Smash Up. Oh my God. I'm trying to do like a really quick recap of Smash Up. If you like just a card game that changes every single time you play it, pick up Smash Up. Get to Ride. Family friendly, super easy. You play it once, you'll never forget how to play it. My personal best opinion on which one I prefer is Ticket to Ride Europe. Lords of Waterdeep. Again, if you like Catan, I think the next step from Catan, now that we've talked about it, would be a game like Lords of Waterdeep. It's the same thing. Resource management, complete quest, you get victory points. Small World. Oh my God. Again, another game that is never the same game twice in a row. It is freaking amazing. Take your race, take your superpower, go conquer the world. Diplomacy. If you've got a day to kill and you don't mind pissing off everybody you know, conquering Europe, go freaking play Diplomacy. And then, of course, Blood Bowl. Guys, if you are a football fan, fantasy fan, RPG fan, pick up a game of Blood Bowl, roll some dice.
It's literal fantasy football.
It is like when I see all you guys talk about, hey Johnny, go join my fantasy league. I go from
is it Blood Bowl?
Midnight. Yeah, exactly. I go from 6 to midnight thinking they're talking about Blood Bowl. No, they're talking about actual fantasy football.
Right.
No, Blood Bowl is the quintessential fantasy football, fantasy races, football, put them together, RPG elements, rolling some dice, killing motherfuckers. It's a great goddamn time. All right, shoot.
All right, my number 10, Dominion. Very fun, very different type of card building game, deck building game. When I say different, I mean it's different every time, depending on who you play with. You know, it's always different. Super fun. Definitely go out and check that out. Number 9, Disney Villainous. Great game. Great game, John. I think you'll love it, dude. We need to sit down and play it. I think you'll really like it. Number 8, Ticket to Ride. We've talked about this game enough. I think it's a wholesome family game. Go play it. It's super fun, super easy. Anybody can play it. 7, Quacks of Quedlinburg.
It caught me by surprise.
So here's your potion you're trying to build, and you kind of you put it in the middle, and you go in a spiral with your ingredients. It's super fun, John. You're gonna love this game. It's like KOT, kind of like anybody can play it. Doesn't take too long. You know, it's 9 rounds, but they're quick. Sorry, had to show that. Where am I? Number 6. Speaking of KOT, King of Tokyo. Really quick game. Anybody can play. Super fun. Check out the expansion, the Kung Fu Panda expansion. You know what I'm talking about when you see it. Number 5, Small World. Just a very well-rounded game and different every time. Just, you know, low stakes. You're just all you're doing is taking over a world. You know, it's not a big deal.
Amazing replayability.
Yes.
Man. It's never the same game twice.
Number 4 is my dice game, Greed, that I have my own rules to, that if you ever want to play Greed, it's super fun. It's incredibly frustrating. The highest of highs and the lowest of lows in that game.
Greed will piss you off. Greed will get you upset.
Yeah. Number 3, Cards Against Humanity. Play it with people you've never played it with before. Number 2, Settlers of Catan. If you're interested in strategy games, you know, if you want to take your steps into a wider world, play Settlers of Catan. Super fun, engaging, lots of stuff in that game. And if you want to play a game in a haunted house that you are building, that you may or may not be the traitor in, you don't even know until the haunt starts, go play Betrayal at the House on the Hill. It's just a great game. Brian, I know you're in chat now. I thanked you and Emily earlier. I don't know if you were listening, but for showing me Betrayal at the House on the Hill all those years ago, and it was awesome. Just such a great game. I went out and bought it like the next day. And if you're interested in learning that game, you know, hit me up. I'll show you guys how to play it. My strategy. I mean, I'm not like, you know, an expert at the game as far as winning all the time, but I've played it probably a dozen times. I've been the traitor once. It's just like, yeah. And I ended up winning. I think I was the Pied Piper, and I had an army of rats at my disposal, which was really cool. Yeah, just definitely check it out. Different every time. Again, you really kind of find out who your friends are in that game. And yeah, there is a Baldur's Gate edition to that game, Betrayal at Baldur's Gate as well, if you're into the high fantasy type stuff, which is really cool. John, anything to add before we wrap it up? We are almost at 2 hours here, so this has been
Holy
super.
shit.
I know. It didn't seem like it. This has been super fun. I want to do more videos like this where we do like top 10s of things. Maybe I don't know. Movies, video games, comic books. I mean, whatever, dude. I don't care. I mean, I just like talking about this stuff, man. I know you do too. So.
Oh yeah, dude. I'll sit here like, again, I could probably make a video just about Blood Bowl alone. I mean,
yeah.
And there's little niche topics like me and you both. We get on our little rants, and just me and you talk about pretty much anything. So we're like, I'm done talking about this.
Yeah.
But anything to add about like any of these board games? Dude, I would not tell anyone to not go play any of the board games we listed. I think they're all good in their own right. They're all worth playing once. That's for damn sure. Play them once,
Absolutely.
and then figure out whether or not you like it or not. Find a friend, ask if they got that game, sit down and play. And it's not for me. And like I said, me and Colby, we have agreed on a few and disagreed on a few of these games. Like, and nothing like menacing, or what's the word I'm looking for? Nothing like nothing that takes away from the board games. For the most part, they're just not our cup of tea. And that's 100% fair, man. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of board games for you guys to go out there.
Yeah, let us know some ones that we forgot, because I'm sure there's going to be ones that like I didn't even think of, and I'm like, oh my god, how did I not even think of that? There's tons of games I haven't played. Jonathon has probably more time in board games than I do, just overall. But Brian said no honorable mention for the Ninja Turtles board game from the 90s. Hey, you sat this one out, man. You had your chance.
Had your chance, Brian.
Clue is an amazing game. Disney Villains Clue, by the way, super, super fun game. Speaking of honorable mentions, I do want to talk about Love Letter just for a second. Go to Amazon, spend the $10 or whatever it is. Go buy Love Letter and just play it with a group of 4 or 5 people. It is such a fun game, and it's just a little taste of your board gaming or card gaming journey. So, all right, guys, let us know in the comments. Give us a like. We really appreciate it. It helps the channel out a lot. Brian wants me to talk about some more pinball stuff. We actually have a few pinball videos in the can that we have filmed and haven't quite got them done yet. My house is just a disaster right now. It really sucks. I'm living in my bedroom other than this office where I'm working and stuff. And I got to get all that done before I can actually put these videos up, but really looking forward to showing you guys some of the mods that I've done on my Royal Rumble machine. So John, anything else before we end it?
No, man. If y'all get bored and are interested to see what the hell I'm doing, you can always stop by That Guy John A Plays on Facebook. Again, it's That Guy John A, all one word, and then plays. Very, very simple.
Yes, sir. Why don't you talk about your stuff that you got, just real quick?
Oh, dude, I'm just a trivia host and a bingo guy who went out and got the pretty penny on obtaining some audio video equipment so I can start, hosting where I want to host. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. If you guys like me, you want to see more of me, by all means, man, just follow me on there. I tell you exactly where I'm going to be every week. And I have a good time. So yeah, I got Colby.
All right, guys. We appreciate you hanging out. We had some good participation in chat. Let us know in the comments what your favorite games are. Give us a top 10 list. Look out for some more videos soon. And as always, fan out. See you guys.